going to hit the record button, and here we go. What is up? Welcome to Ferrell Swim Tech. I know there's been a bit of a hiatus, but I am looking to start these up weekly in the mornings up until I go on vacation in the middle of July. So we'll get some really good topics in until then. But what this stream is, this is my hope to do. Wow, I'm totally blowing this intro. This is fantastic. This is such professional. Okay. Frito, I got a guy back here, as I point at my garage door. He's my editor. You know, he makes sure that I edit out any horrible things when I'm live. Okay, Frito, edit all of that out. We're just gonna start all over again. Okay, I blew the intro. We're gonna start over. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hello, what is up? My name is the Ferrell. Welcome to Ferrell Swim Tech. This is the show where I take my 15 years of a swimming experience and 10 years of private coaching experience and help you swim faster. So today we're going to get back to the basics. I'm kind of restart the whole series over again. So we are going to start with pulling. Now, pulling is the most important thing in swimming. Why is that? Well, depends on who you talk to, but on average, your kick, the kick, only accounts for somewhere between 3 to 10% of your stroke. So if you understand that one statistic, you'll understand why pulling is insanely important. Now, pulling in swimming is really hard to do because of one thing: water. Water is not concrete. Okay, you got to understand this one concept before we can really make any headway to helping you swim faster. Okay, that's a bike. If you want to go faster on the bike, you push the pedals harder. You push the pedals harder, it turns cranks. Those cranks turn a wheel. That wheel is on concrete. You push the pedals harder, the wheel turns faster, you go faster. Really simple. All you got to do to go faster on the bike is to figure out how to keep your legs moving faster. Okay? Next. Yes, I understand it's more complicated than that, cyclist peoples, but just go with me on this one. Running. You have your shoes. You put your feet on the concrete. You push it backwards, moving you forwards. You bring your leg back forward. You hit the ground. You push backwards, and you keep that cycle going and going and going. You push harder. You run faster. It's pretty simple. You got to figure out how to make your legs push harder, longer for you to run faster. All right. I also understand it's more complicated than that, but go with me. Swimming. You have your arms. You put your arms in the water. You apply water. You push backwards really hard, and you thrash. Why does this happen? Because it's water. Water is not concrete. Rule number 1, water is not concrete. It is very, 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 very different from concrete. However, rule number 1 of learning how to swim faster is treating water like it's a solid. Okay? Now you might just be saying, okay, you just totally contradicted yourself. You said water is not concrete, but you got to treat water like it's a solid. Yes, water is not concrete because it is a liquid. Its official designation in the physics world is an incompressible fluid. It is an incompressible fluid. Therefore, if you push on it, it's not going to squish. Okay, it's not like a foam block where it's not like my little mushroom guy where I could squish it. Okay, I mean, granted, it has elasticity, so it reverts back, but water doesn't squish like foam can. Okay, doesn't squish like cotton, doesn't squish like foam. It just splurts out the side, and it retains its actual molecular shape. It doesn't condense. It doesn't do any of that. It stays the same volume, essentially. So, how do we use the idea of treating water like it's a solid to help us swim faster? Well, what we want to do is we need to first understand how do we grab the water. Now, For those of you that are new to this show, I do virtual stroke technique clinics where I actually just got some videos today of a pro triathlete down in Carlsbad, who, by the way, was someone recommended by a Team Zoot member. Thank you. And I'm going to be looking at that probably tonight and doing a whole video on it. On my YouTube channel, I have different videos that I've done. I've done about a dozen of these so far. So a lot of times what I see people do is they pull and their hand is like this. Their hand is kind of flat, or it's kind of pointed like this. Okay, kind of pointed down at a 45-degree angle. If you're doing this, you're automatically swimming slow. No questions asked, all right? Because here's how you need to first understand pulling. Learn to get your hand vertical when you pull. All right? Now, here's the other thing too. What do you pull with? Well, we use our arms to pull. But where are you putting your pressure when you use your arms? Is it in the elbow? Do you bring your elbow backwards? Do you bring your hand backwards? How do you pull? In order to help you get better, you need to understand what you're doing. Now, I know a lot of people are like, I'm just trying to stay afloat, which is fine. That's okay. But if you really want to get better at pulling, you got to understand what part of your arm you're pulling with. Because if you pull with your hands, your hand will do this motion, and then kind of the elbow will trail. A lot of people actually pull with their elbows, where they'll bring their elbow back and their hand will be kind of floating like this, and then they'll snap the hand back at the end. Now, why is this not good? Okay, we have to apply pressure evenly on the water. Also, if your hand is like this when you pull, all the water is shooting out this way. So every time you push back, a molecule of water is hitting the hand and shooting down this way. You're slipping, essentially. Okay? It's like I have my flat surface right here. Okay? It's like I'm trying to grab the flat surface like this. All right? So when you're trying to pull, you want to grab that flat surface with a flat hand. You don't want to grab it like this, okay? This is acceptable. I will teach you how to pull like this, all right? So rule number 1, treat water like it's a solid. You have to actually grab the water, and you have to understand how to grab the water. You have to get your arm in the position to where you actually can grab the water. Because if your arm comes out here and then you pull the elbow back like this, you're never going to grab the water. Your hand will be floating and it's going to slip on top of the water. All right? One second. So we want to learn how to be able to get pressure on that water. Now, to answer that question, we actually want to pretend our hand is right here in the middle of our arm. We'll get to that in a minute, though. So, also, before I move on, just remember this is a live show. If you are watching this as a VOD, if you have any questions about anything I talk about, please put it in the comments. As well as if you are watching this live, you are more than welcome to chime in with voice chat with chats. If there's any questions that you want me to answer, just start throwing them in chat. If it's appropriate to what I'm talking about, I'll address it immediately. If not, I'll just say, wait a minute, and I will circle back to it. Because there was one question that was asked yesterday on the Team Zoot post, and I will be getting to that momentarily. So for moving on, what we need to do is we need to learn how to properly get our hand forward, grabbing the water, and pushing it backwards. Okay? So the basic physics of swimming is we move in the direction opposite that we push. Okay? Hold up. So, my wife's getting ready to go to work. So, if I have a wall here, or if I'm in the water and I push the water, I'm going to go this way. If I push this way, I go that way. All right? So, what we need to do is we need to be able to grab the water in front of us and push it backwards. And if we push it backwards, we're going to move forwards. Okay? So, next idea that we need to understand is, what is forward? Okay, what direction is forward? Okay, now some of you are going to be looking at me like I'm a crazy person, but trust me, this helps. This mentality is going to help you so much. What direction is forward? Up. Forward is up. Okay? You need to understand this concept. All right, let me explain. If I'm swimming, I am swimming. Water line is here. I am looking down at the bottom of the pool. Okay? I'm looking down at the bottom of the pool. So now, because I'm here, because imagine I'm here and I'm swimming. Okay? If I'm swimming here, water level is right here. So I am now looking down at the bottom of the pool. So I reach forward, and this is kind of using conventional directions of that a lot of people use with swimming. I'm reaching forward and pushing backwards. Forward and pushing backwards. Now, let's rotate that perspective 90 degrees to where I am reaching up to push down, Essentially, you are now at the bottom of the pool and you're looking up at me. All right? Now, why is this important? This is important because you now can work on swimming on dry land. If you are going to get better at technique, you must absolutely incorporate dry land, stroke, Tai Chi training into your regimen. I guarantee you, this will help. What you're doing is you're allowing yourself to practice your technique when you're not in a pool. All right? And here's the thing about this. It's really easy to do. It is really easy to do. Let me help you with a couple ways to really start, getting your head wrapped around correct pull path, correct stroke training. So, oh. I would love to. Thank you, dear. I have a chore. Must have been a coyote or something. Oh well. So working on stroke technique on dry land. All right. So let me tilt my camera up a little bit. It's still not enough. All right, there you go. Okay, there we go. All right. So when I'm swimming, I am reaching up and pushing down. Okay. So let's first talk about that reach, because one of the concepts we talk about very often is we talk about distance per stroke, DPS, distance per stroke. We want to be reaching up in order to push down fully, okay? So the optimal distance per stroke is when you start your pull with your hand here, and then you push all the way to where if you just let your hand hang to the side, I know it's off camera, but you let your hand hang to the side and your hand is reaching towards the bottom of the floor. So, rule number 1 of distance per stroke. This is the optimal reach. This is not. All right? This is called cross-body pulling, because if you're here, you're going to wind up pulling like this. We want to avoid that. we want to reach straight up, okay? Now, I've seen some questions about flexibility. Flexibility and swimming. How flexible do you need to be in order to be a good swimmer? Well, I'm a little biased in that opinion. I am extremely flexible, especially for my age now. But way number one to know if you're flexible enough is if you can simply do this. If you can do this, you're good enough, okay? If you can only get about here, so I would recommend some stretching exercises, get some yoga in, try and extend that reach to where you can reach both arms comfortably fully over your head. Now, if you have shoulder problems and you legitimately can't do this, that's okay. It's perfectly fine. There's plenty of ways around it. There's plenty of alternatives that you can do and still be a very effective swimmer. I'm just saying, optimally, you have to get both hands up over your head, all right? So, what do we do now that we have our hand up over our head? What we got to do is we got to grab a brick, okay? Now, I know that the angle is weird, but we're going to rotate our hand to where we're grabbing a brick above us. Now, we don't want to do this, all right? We want to do this. We want to have that hand pointed towards us. We want to have that hand pointed towards us. You want to avoid pointing your hands down, in other words, down at the bottom of the pool. Now, why is that? Because if you point your hands down, you're going to tend to push your hand down this way before you pull. All right? Now, why is this not optimal? Well, number one, if you push your hand here, you can immediately engage the water and start pulling. So your lead time between your hand entering the water and engaging the pull is much shorter, okay? This as opposed to this, okay? Because it takes me from here to start the pull phase, all right? This is just your hand sinking in the water. This does you nothing. Because there's a lot of people that I've seen on my videos to where they push, and then they grab. They grab really deep, like insanely deep. Not worth it, because when you're here and you're trying to go forward, that water is pushing you back. Even though you're thinking, I'm going forward, you still have water pressure acting against you. All right? And if you grab right here, you see the difference. Okay, so I am now looking straight at my garage wall. Unfortunately, my camera is a little tweaked. I have curved monitors. So if I'm grabbing here, this distance is what is being pushed against by water as I'm trying to go forward, as opposed to here, where all this is it's a difference of surface areas. So this surface area is theoretically smaller than this surface area. All right, has to do with ovals and fun stuff like that. So we want to grab the water and start pushing down. Okay, we push down by drawing our elbow out to the side. See, my elbow's out here. It starts straight. I grab the water. I push down in a straight motion. My elbow comes out to the side. All right. Now, like I said earlier, we want to focus on pulling with your mid arm. Okay. Put the pressure here, right there on your arm. So you're going to grab that water, but you're going to push evenly. Okay. You want to push evenly. So your dryland exercise, if you want to get better at pulling, your dryland exercise, reach up, grab a brick, push down. Now, notice where my hand is, okay? I'm going to look straight at the camera. My fingertips are kind of going right around my nose level, okay? We don't want to be all the way out here. This engages shoulder muscles, very weak. We don't want to do that, okay? Primarily, it's your upper shoulders and your back. and that's really, really weak. So if you want to engage your lats and your biceps and your chest, all of your really strong muscles. Wow, man, I had 2 hours of swim lessons yesterday. I haven't done that in a long time. So we want to grab that brick and we want to push it all down evenly. Okay. So we want to push it. We want to also envision that we're pushing it straight down. You see my hand is coming in a linear motion. Notice the elbow is pushing out to the side. Okay. Now, this is now going to go into the question that was asked on, let's see here. There was, yep, there you go. All right, so there was a question. It says, what position and direction should the hand be for the return when it exits the water? When it exits the water and enter. Okay. So the question is, what position should my hand be? Now, the position when your hand exits the water, so that's the first part of the recovery. By the way, we're not going to get into recovery today. We're going to combine recovery and breathing into a single video. So when the hand comes out, your palm should be up. But the main thing that I wanted to teach in this segment is when your hand re-enters the water, okay? When your hand re-enters the water, you absolutely want your palm to the inside, okay? You want your palm to the inside. A lot of people, they swim and they put their palm to the outside. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh, well, why is that such a bad idea? Well, let me sink down in my chair as much as I can and reach my hand up, okay? Actually, I can get a little bit taller here. Okay. So, this is palm to the inside. This is palm to the outside. When your palm's to the outside, it's really easy to pull all the way out here. Now, why do we not want to pull all the way out here? The idea is pull-up theory, okay? This is one of my theories. I have a bunch of different theories when it comes to swimming freestyle. Pull-up theory. Pull-up theory states that if you're swimming all the way out here, it's like trying to do pull-ups with a super wide grip, all right? We like doing pull-ups here, those of us that are blessed enough to be able to actually do a pull-up. I'm not at this point. But in theory, I've done extensive research on this subject, and apparently the optimal position, notice research, not practice, you grab the bar and you come up here. So you want to pull somewhere in this region, because that's going to engage all the muscles on the front side of your body, as opposed to when you're out here, you're engaging all of your upper shoulder muscles, which are way weaker, okay? Number one, you got to generate more strength. In order to generate more strength, you have to use the correct muscle groups. You have to use muscle groups that actually have the strength. So we want to be pulling right through here, okay? So now, why is it important to get your palm to the inside? Buenos dias de Argentina. Espero que todo está bien en Sudamérica. Qué bueno. Yes, I do speak Spanish. I don't teach swim lessons in Spanish, though. I could try, but I don't know if I could. As much as I would love to. Okay. So, y también si quieren typear. I forgot how to say type. Si quiere enviar sus mensajes en español, todavía está bien. Porque hablo español y también lo leo. Entonces, si no sé la significancia de una palabra, yo voy a preguntar. Okay, está bien. All right, so the reason why we want our palm to the inside is because it gives our arm very, very few options to screw up. We want our hand to the inside, so then our elbow is able to more easily bend to the outside so we can push. Now, this is what it looks like when we're right here. So we're reaching up and we're pushing down. So you see that I got a nice level platform that I'm pushing down with right here. Push, 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 push all the way down. So, all right. So that talks about that part. So that mainly goes over the initial and the catch, all right? So what are some things that you can do in order to work on this? So number one, what I like to tell people to do is just reach your hand straight out and then grab a brick. Okay? You're going to grab something, get your hand nice and flat, nice and perpendicular, nice and vertical according to the water surface. And then what you're going to do is simply move your hand straight to your chest and let your elbow come out. Okay? That's number one. Just be able to do this. Scoop, push back towards you. Doesn't matter what part that you get. Just kind of touch your chest right here. Just get that elbow to go out. That's all you're doing in this step. Step number one, scoop, bring the hand to you. Scoop, bring the hand to you. So what you want to eventually do in this step is you want to get the scoop and the hand draw into one motion. Scoop as you pull back. Scoop as you pull back. Scoop as you pull back. Okay, now does that make sense? Now, what we want to do is we then want to start moving the arm into the we want to move the hand into the correct position. Scoop down here. All right, let me tilt the camera down just a little bit. Okay, it's about where my belly button is. Okay, so you want to then learn how to scoop and touch your belly button. All right, now why your belly button? Everybody's got one. Okay, everyone's got something of a navel. So it's a very easy target. And all of us, since we were two, I'm teaching my little boy where his Bebo is, and it's really cute. You grab and you bring your hand somewhere around your belly button. All right? So here, boom. Here, boom. Okay? Here, boom. All right, now why? Why do we want to hit the belly button? Because it's the closest thing you're going to get to 120 degrees. 120 degrees is about where your no-nos are, and I don't really want to talk about those. So, just do the belly button. That gets you about 90. All you got to do is shift it down about another 2 to 3 inches, and boom, you're at 110 degree arm bend. This is 90. This is about 110. And realistically, the whole 110 degree elbow bend, if you're at 90, you're fine. You're fine. And 90 is actually really easy to hit. Here's how you hit 90, okay? So, you got your biceps, got your triceps. Also, if you want to get good at swimming, start working these two, okay? Bicep curls, tricep extensions, and throw in some bench. Tricep extension, okay. If you want to really work on pulling in the weight room, there's 4 exercises you got to do. Pull-ups, assisted pull-ups are fine. Use a band, or if you have one of those fancy machines that's got the weights that helps you pull up. I have to use 50 pounds in order to do it. I have to use assistance of 50 pounds for myself in order to do pull-ups. Pull-ups, bench, bicep curls, tricep extensions. Oh, and lat pull down. I'll come in again. Sorry. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. I mean, come on. So, pull-ups, bench, bicep curls, tricep extensions, lat pull downs. Lat pull downs, okay? All of those will really, really, really help your swim pulling, all right? Now, what should you do? Why did I talk about this? Because getting a 90-degree elbow bend is really easy to do. So how do we do it? Bicep curls, bicep hard. Tricep, kind of hard. Still a little squishy, okay? Extend out. Tricep hard. Bicep, a little squishy. Now what happens when you flex both at the same time? Right here, okay? When you flex both at the same time, your arm is locked into a 90-degree position, all right? So, what does this have to do with swimming? Well, what you're going to do is as you're pulling, you're going to squeeze both your tricep and your bicep, okay? This is going to add strength because you're going to grab that water and you're actually engaging the muscles in your arm, as opposed to if you just pull with your elbow, you're not going to feel a thing in your biceps and your triceps. I guarantee you, you start doing this, you're really going to feel it in your bicep and your tricep. And you'll be like, wow, those muscles do work when I pull. And trust me, it's going to hurt a little bit. It's going to hurt a little bit for the first couple of workouts when you start utilizing this technique. But what you're going to learn is you're going to learn how to balance that muscle, the muscle engagement, to where you're not on where it's just a light engagement to snap that arm in the right position and then extend to push it backwards. All right. Now, some of you may be thinking, wow, you're talking a lot about the first part of the stroke. That's because the first part of the stroke is absolutely the most crucial. You screw up the first part of your stroke, your pull is going to be weak. Hands down, no questions asked. Because you're not engaging the right muscles, you're not grabbing the water, you're not actually getting anything in your arms to push backwards. This all has to do with the correct pressure your arms are putting on the water. And unfortunately, that's not something I can teach you. Like on a bike, I can say, hey, if you're pounding 200 watts, you're doing fantastic. There really is nothing like that in swimming. Swimming is a very much so hippy-dippy, touchy-feely, hippy-dippy baloney kind of a sport. There's so much of it that's kind of in the metaphysical realm. You just got to feel the water. You got to touch the water. You got to, and there's a lot of people that complain about this point, and I fully understand. I totally get it. Remember, I was a high school All-American. I mean, I used to go a sub 140, 200 freestyle. Okay, I went a sub 150, 200 backstroke. So I know how to swim very, very fast. And even then, it's hard to explain how to put the right pressure on the water to where you're actually pushing the water and not slipping and you're not thrashing the water. I get it. But these explanations, these theories, these ideas that I'm sharing with you right now, this is the best thing that I could come up with to help you feel the water. I know we always go back to that, but it's the truth. It is the absolute truth. You look at really good swimmers, you look at the Olympians, you look at people that have had collegiate experience, they are just effortlessly going through the water. All right? And it's something, it's an intangible. That feel of the water is truly an intangible. It's something you can't really teach someone. However, I hope that these items that I'm teaching you are going to put you on the right path. Number one, do dry land. Work on this on dry land. This is half the battle. This is well over half the battle. Going from here to here and then replicating it in the pool. So here's how I recommend now. How do you finish the stroke? Finishing the strokes is very easy. Just boop. That's it. Okay, get that hand all the way pushing backwards. The place where I see most people in the finishing part of the stroke, and the reason why I'm doing the finishing part of the stroke is we're going to get into how to work on this. Because it does you no good for me just to talk about this without a good action plan. I'm going to get you an action plan next. So once we get to here to the belly button part, okay, all you're doing is just extending backwards. The main idea that you want to know is that finger is pointing straight backwards. What I see a lot of people doing is they get to this point and then their elbow leads them and then their hand comes out of the water here. All right? That is absolutely wrong. You never want to do this. You never want your elbow leading out of the water, okay? You want to push that hand all the way backwards and then lift the elbow out of the water, okay? The elbow goes up. The elbow goes up. The elbow goes up, okay? So the problem with this is there's a hole from here to here that you are completely missing out on, okay? So you grab the water here. We'll go behind me. Here, let me align myself. There you go. You're right here with the water. Push, 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 push. Belly button. Push, 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 push. Straight back. Elbow comes up, hand comes forward. Or conversely, straight arm recovery. All right? So, the idea is extend all the way backwards. Point your fingers down. Reach up. Push down. My hand is at my side. My fingers are pointed behind me. And then I draw the elbow backwards, which then helps me get my hand back up to the top where I am reaching straight up. You can't see it on the camera, but that's where I'm reaching. So, how do we work on this? How do we work on pulling? Well, number one, so let me run this down again. I did a stream on this a couple months ago. How much should you be working on stroke technique? Because I know that there's a lot of people, and this was sparked by someone's website I saw that is teaching it's one of these guys that gives paid workouts where you pay $30, they give you a set of workouts for the next 6 months. I was never more offended as a stroke technique coach by this. I will openly admit this is a personal beef. This is a personal beef with whoever put this website together. I was very miffed where the guy says, you can get faster without working on your technique. No. I'm sorry, no. Let me dispel this one rumor right now. If you want to get faster at swimming, you must work on technique. Why? I've seen enough videos of people showing me they are literally pushing water forward. If you are above a 2:15 per 100 for your race pace, I can almost guarantee you are pushing water forward every single stroke. I've seen it to where people put their hand in the water and literally push the water forward. Okay? I can almost guarantee you are doing something in your stroke to where if you are over 210, 215 per 100, you are definitely pushing water forward. No questions asked. You need to work on technique. You have to stop pushing water forward in order for you to have any prayer of breaking that 2-minute barrier. Okay? So I understand. I get a little fired up about this, and I also understand I'm very biased because I am a stroke technique coach. That's what I do. That's my side job. I'm a full-time civil engineer. I design rocks, fake rocks, and I design swimming pools for a living. This is a side gig. This is how I make money for triathlons, how in this crazy economy I'm still able to afford the mini milkshakes at freaking Del Taco for my kiddos every once in a while. This is how I get my slush fund money. So I understand I'm biased, and yes, if you would like to have this virtual stroke technique session, just send me a direct message here on Facebook or send me an email right here. Also, just in general, if you have any questions about swimming, feel free to hit me up on the email. I'm totally cool with it. Like I said, this is a service that I do for Team Zoot. Team Zoot has been absolutely fantastic, allowing me to have this platform, as well as allowing me the opportunity to be able to share this with you. And they've also been kind enough to hook me up with a couple nice things over the years. So no, I am not a professional triathlete. I am absolutely garbage mediocre at both the bike and the run. I am wicked good at the swim, but the bike and run, I'm working on those, okay? I'm still very mediocre in both of them. So I'm not some pro triathlete. I'm just a dude that swims very fast. That's all I am. So, okay, let's thank you. See here. Hey, thank you, Catherine. Thank you very much for those kind words. Very, very kind of you. So yeah, like I said, that's the whole thing. That's the whole idea of why I'm doing this, is I'm trying to give you the ideas, to give you the tools to get faster. Okay. So working on technique. If you're over 2 minutes per 100, you must work on technique. I would say, honestly, if you are structuring your own workouts, I would spend well over half of your workout hyper focused on technique. Okay? Hyper focus on technique. And here's the ways to kind of get started with that. Number one, get a friend. Get a friend that's willing to videotape you and so you can watch yourself swim. There's a lot of people, if you just simply watch yourself, you can go, oh, I do that? Oh, no. No. Yeah, you could totally tell a lot of things that you're doing wrong, okay? And if you look at that footage and you're saying, okay, I realize what I'm doing wrong. How do I fix it? That's where my email comes in. You are more than welcome to send your video to me. I'll set this up. You know, I do videos just like this where I will have I will have your video over here, and I'll be stepping through your video and helping you come up with 3 concrete, very good things to work on. That's the way I do my videos. If you want to go to my YouTube, the Ferrell 1 at youtube.com, I really should put that down there. The Ferrell 1 on YouTube, you'll see the videos that I've done before. Also, if you do a video with me, I will give you the option of whether or not you want it public or unlisted. If it's unlisted, I will send you the link. If you want it public, you can just kind of search for it. I do use your first name in the video, so there is that as well. Okay, so moving on with how to work on technique, okay? The way that I like to do it is, number one, dry land. Dry land, dry land, dry land. Every day, do something with dry land. And the reason why we do dry land is Tai Chi. We are Tai Chiing this puppy. We are going to get it into our muscle memory, all right? We got to get it into our muscle memory. We have to understand, as I guarantee you, and I know I got my microphone to work around, so it kind of looks like weird. But if you watch me swim, I can do it on dry land just as I do it in the water. You have to be very comfortable air swimming, okay? Put on some tunes, just start going through the motions very slowly at first, and then start working on the speed to where it's a nice, comfortable pace. And I understand doing it vertically is very strange because you're used to lying down and doing this. But I'm telling you, if you can do it vertically, you can do it horizontally. And the carryover is a lot easier than you think it is. So learn how to swim vertically on dry land. It really helps if you have a mirror in front of you, so then you can see exactly what you're doing. Do it to the side so you can check and see, okay, is my hand actually perpendicular to the water surface? Am I actually grabbing that brick? And then do it in front of you. Is my hand coming down vertically? Is my elbow coming out to the side? These are the things you want to start looking at and noticing, and understand what muscles you are engaging when you do this. That is the most absolutely important part that you are doing with this Tai Chi. You want to know what muscles are activating, okay? Reach up, push down. As you do it, are your biceps activating? Are your triceps activating? Is your chest, or do you have a portion of your pectorals that are activating? What muscles are activating as you are performing the correct technique? Now, you get to the pool. Get a good warm-up in. Don't really worry too much about technique. Just get yourself loose and ready to go. Typically, I had someone message me about, someone from Logan, Utah, message me about pool buoys, fins, stuff like that, because he just got a new set of equipment, wants to know how to properly use them during swim practice. Your warm-up should consist of swim, kick, and pull. If you don't really have a good warm-up routine, either a 500 routine or a 250-yard routine. 200 for the 500, 200 swim, 100 kick, 200 pull. Great warm-up, works wonders. I've done that warm-up for years. It is a great warm-up. Now, if your workouts are a lot shorter than that, to where a 500 is like, oh my gosh, 100, 50, 100. 100 swim, 50 kick, 100 pull, okay? So, now, what do you do when you get to the pool? So what you need to do is you need to structure this to where you work on certain aspects of the technique during different parts of the workout, okay? The idea is you don't want to work on too many things at the same time. It's going to overload your brain. Why does it overload your brain? Because you are in zero gravity, all right? This is where the muscle activation exercises really come into play. We have to respect water. Water is a scary thing. Our bodies do crazy things when we go in the water. Number one, we're afraid of water. We don't operate very well underneath the water. We have to have special equipment in order to be able to exist for long periods of time underwater. Our brain is hardwired to not want to be underwater. For those of you that are swimming that learned how to swim as an adult, this is one of the biggest things. And we'll talk about this with body positioning. We'll really dive into this in body positioning. But the idea is we want to keep our head near the surface as much as possible. So we're going to do all sorts of crazy things with our neck, getting our head up to the water as much as possible. Now, that's kind of a fear thing, all right? Now, and like I said, I'm just introducing that idea. We will really deep dive into that on the episode on body positioning. But we have to understand our body has an innate fear of water. Me personally, I have zero fear of water. Unless I'm surfing and the surf is above 6 feet. Then I get a little bit scared. Just a little bit, though, because that thing can crush me. And I had a bad experience once. So, anyway, beyond that, we need to understand that water is something to be feared. The other thing, too, is water is the closest thing we'll ever get to being in zero gravity. Okay? Our about 1/3 of our body weight is actually supported by water. Okay, the whole concept is buoyancy. Archimedes' principle of buoyancy. Buoyancy is a force that pushes you up to the surface of the water. Okay, buoyant force is always acts in the opposite direction of gravity. All right, and for those of you that think there's going to be no math and science, you be dead wrong. I'm going to teach you all sorts of fun physics stuff. The more you know. So buoyancy pushes you up towards the water surface. Buoyancy is what counteracts the effects of gravity. That is why you are able to float in water. Buoyancy pushes you up, gravity pushes you down. You find some happy medium by filling your lungs with oxygen, and you float. Or you put on your lovely little suit of neoprene, and then you float like a champ, like I do, because I don't float without my wetsuit on. I'm sorry, indulge me in one more fun story. When I was a kid, I started getting really good at swimming around the 6th grade. So all my scout camps during middle school and high school, I would always destroy everyone in the swim. And then they'd be like, all right, float on your back for 10 minutes. I can't float. And then my scoutmaster, who weighs like, 280, he's just like, hey, Fuzzy, what's your problem over there? He's just sitting in a little chair. I'm like, I can't float. Anyway, there's my lovely childhood memories for full display for you. So we have to understand that water does weird things to our brain because, number one, we don't like being in water. Number two, it's like zero gravity, okay? So what you need to do is you need to rely on the muscle activation. Rely on grabbing that brick and pushing it down. So what needs to happen is, number one, get the form, okay? Pool buoys are going to be your best friend because, like I said, your kick is virtually nothing. Your kick, for the majority of you, your kick is way more of a hindrance than a benefit. So some of you may be thinking, well, then should I even kick at all? Yes, you need to kick. You have to kick. Don't. Okay, one thing I'm going to say right now, and I will definitely get into this in the next episode. We're going to talk about kicking the next episode because kicking is as important as pulling, but you're getting like virtually nothing out of your kick. Okay, you don't want to mistake not getting anything out of your kick for not being important. Your kick is absolutely important. It is the most important thing you will do because it keeps your body on top of the water. Okay, You can't swim when your feet are down at the bottom of the pool. All right, kicking is how you get your legs up to the top of the water, but we have to understand what the correct technique is and how to utilize those legs so they're not anchors dragging on the bottom of the floor. So, but with that being said, we have to use a pull buoy. Get a pull buoy, use a pull buoy. Also, if you haven't purchased a snorkel, buy a snorkel. In my opinion, snorkel, pull buoy, kickboard are the 3 absolute most important things you can have as a person learning how to swim. Those 3 are the most important. Theoretically, you can do away with the pull buoy and put your kickboard in between your legs and pull that way, which is a lot of fun, by the way. Let's see here. Let's see. Engaging the lat is important. Since you give great explanations, can you give a tidbit of detail, please? Thank you. Okay. Lat engagement. I do apologize. I don't know. Okay. All right. I don't know how to engage the lats. I don't know specifically how to engage the lats. I will be open and honest about that. I know that I do. So, You stumped me. How to engage the lats? I don't necessarily know. It's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain that one because your lats are kind of a weird muscle group. It's way more of a support muscle. It's not like your bicep. Your lats are not like your bicep where you can just kind of go and then you engage your bicep. It's kind of like I don't know. I don't even technically know where your lats are. You got to understand, I'm a civil engineer. I wasn't an exercise scientist, exercise science major. All my buddies who did exercise science back in college are like, oh, we're going to go poke around in cadavers. I'm like, I'm going to be hurling in a bucket over there. Okay, no, I'm not poking dead people. I'm sorry. No. And that's the main reason why I had no desire to do that. Also, civil engineering is a much better track for me. So Catherine, I do profusely apologize. I actually do not know the answer to that question. However, if you are engaging, actually, maybe that is your lat. I don't know. I don't technically know where your lats are. I should know that, but I don't. So if you're engaging the front area, your lats will actually engage. Actually, no, I do feel that. Huh. I learned something today. Yeah. If you do the pull that I talked about earlier, where you're engaging both your biceps and your triceps, you will actually inadvertently engage the lats. And I know this because that's how I swim fast. I'm sorry, Catherine. I will like I stated before. I don't have an explicit answer to that question. I do profusely apologize. But hopefully that will help. Just do the muscle engagement on the front side, and that should really help you. That should engage the lats just automatically. Let's see here. Computer that's where I'm entering the water, reaching per se as I rotate. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so we'll leave it at that. Let's get back to snorkels. Snorkels are going to be your best friend. Snorkels and the swimmer snorkels, the ones that go straight up the nose. Here, hold up. Let me grab mine. So in my lovely bag of tricks, I have my snorkel. Oh. Yuck. I really need to clean out my bag. Oh, well. This is why you dunk your snorkel in the water, kids. I'm not going to put this thing in my mouth because that's disgusting. But what you do is you put the snorkel right here, and then you hold it, and you're out. All right? Something you might notice is I have nose plugs. Okay? I am very bad with swimming with snorkels without nose plugs.
So I put the nose plugs on and I swim with the snorkel like this.
All right. Enough fooling around. So, why are snorkels great? Snorkels are great because, number one, you're going to be looking down at the bottom of the pool the entire time. Okay, keep that head up about 30 degrees from vertical. So that's where you want to be looking. But what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to watch your hands as you pull. Okay, so what you want to do when you get in the water, you need to do, if you use a pull buoy, you won't sink. All right, this is why I recommend the snorkel plus the buoy. The snorkel is going to cost you about $35 on Amazon. Pull buoy, $20 on Zoot. You're good to go. All right. Okay. The other thing with toys, standard buoy, standard board. You don't need anything special. There are so many things that swim companies sell that are complete gimmicks. They are gimmicks. There's a lot of stuff out there I absolutely do not recommend. You just don't need it. You don't need it. Don't waste the money. Don't spend the money. It's not going to make you faster. Buying a special kickboard isn't going to make you a faster swimmer. Getting out there and actually putting in the time. I have used a standard tombstone kickboard and a standard foam buoy my entire career. You don't need anything else. You don't need any of the other fancy gimmicks. The only other thing that I would really recommend is if you travel a lot, buy a swim tether. It's one of those things that it's got like a belt and it's got like a big elastic cord, and then you can hook it onto something. If you gotta travel a lot, buy one of those. They're easy to pack. And you can hook it onto any of the stanchions, any of the grab rails on a pool, and most of them you'll be able to lengthen or shorten them to the width of the pool, and you'll be able to get a decent swim workout. It really helps simulate open water conditions, actually. I can give some recommendations if anyone wants them. Just shoot me an email, theferrell@gmail.com, and I can send you some links for recommendations. So how do you work on your stroke technique when you get in the pool? Get your snorkel on, get your buoy on, and all you want to do, and I'll hurry this up because I'm at the hour mark and I'm going to need to get inside and get my kids ready to go. But you want to just work on the form first. Work on the form. Don't worry too much about pressure. Just work on getting that form in. And then what you want to do is you want to start applying more pressure as you start pulling. You want to start building pressure. You don't want to go super fast right at the beginning. You just want to, do the pantomiming, even if it's got to be a pantomiming and you literally are going nowhere. You are focused on the technique. You got to get the technique. The speed will come. Speed will come. But if you don't get the technique down, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to go anywhere fast. So focus on the technique first. Start building pressure on those arms until you start actually engaging the water and you can move faster. I guarantee you it's going to be a painful process because you're going to get so frustrated. I can guarantee you will feel very frustrated when you start doing this because your brain is used to doing a certain thing. We have to legitimately reprogram your brain. This is why we have the dry land portion and we have the in-water portion, okay? Focus on the technique. Take your time. What you want to do is you want to focus on the technique for the half of your workout. If you're over 2 minutes per 100, dedicate half of your workout to focusing on technique. This will make you go so much more faster than just grinding out a couple thousand yards every workout. I guarantee it because you are training yourself to pull faster. You're training yourself to be way more efficient. And then if you get through a couple workouts like this, because you're only hitting up 2-3 workouts a week, this is where the dry land kicks in. Use the dry land every day. It only takes maybe 10-15 minutes of dry land, just continuously stroking on dry land, okay? Dry land, dry land, dry land. You want to get faster, do it on dry land, okay? All right. That is going to be it for me today. So I hope that this helps. Just remember, if you're watching this as a VOD, put your comments down below. I do check these pretty regularly, and I will respond to your comments. Also, if you have any questions whatsoever, or you would like me to review your technique, please shoot me an email, theferrell@gmail.com. More than happy to answer any and all stroke technique questions. If you got gear questions, anything you want me to answer, I'd be more than happy to answer it. So once again, thank you so much, Team Zoot, for allowing me to raid your Facebook channel and do these streams for the team. Let's keep going, team. I think we got Coeur d'Alene coming up. Got a couple big races going on. Really proud of our pros. Sam Long, you've been killing it. To Matt Hansen and all the other pros, you guys have been doing great. Glad that you had a really great Worlds this year. All of us aspiring pros, we're all cheering you on. So good job, guys. Keep on, being good and representing Team Zoot with style. So that's it for me, everyone. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'll be back next week, and next week we'll be tackling kicking. So we'll be talking all about kicking next week, how to use those legs, how to not bend your knees, and all the other fun stuff associated with that. For those of you that do care, I run a Twitch stream every night, twitch.tv/theferrell1. I play a lot of video games. I'm on Zwift on the mornings. I'll be on tomorrow morning at around 5:30 Pacific time. We'll be pounding out a half-hour session, and then I'm going to put my shoes on and go out for a half-hour run for my brick workout for the week. So until later, my friends, thank you all so much for tuning in, and until later, good night, Isaiah Norris, wherever you are. I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.